Governor, looking at the repo rate environment, sitting stable at around 7%, a very prudent stance is what many are talking about, given the fact that inflation is projected to sit at around 7.5% for 2012. Give us an indication of whether you're expecting to keep rates unchanged going forward if inflation does not seem to be coming lower as the year goes on.
Yeah, the way we put together the information, given what is happening in the oil world, and given also what is in the region and in the Eurozone, we have put together the whole, analyzed the whole big picture and predicted that our inflation for this year, which is 2012, is not supposed to exceed 7.5%, and also that the economy is projected to grow at 7.6%. And we are looking at this one considering what is happening in the country from the supply side and also on the demand side.
With regards to the growth outlook, because it also seems that it's going to be much softer, we're looking at 7.6% for 2012. The initial forecast for this year was sitting at 8.8%. You're talking about the Eurozone overall. Is this why you're very concerned about a much softer growth rate for 2012?
No, actually, if you look at our numbers, last year at this time, we had projected the economy to grow by 7%. But we revised it when we saw what the economic activity that was taking place, especially what was happening in agriculture, in the export sector, and also in the credit that was going to the economy. And that's why it was revised 8.8%. Yeah. And now what we are giving is not the final projection, it's the initial projection given what we know to date of 70.6%, which is higher than the initial projection of 70% last year. So after 6 months, we'll be able to see what has happened and be able to evaluate and see whether we are still keeping at 7.6 or if that one is going to be raised further depending on the economic activities and also on what goes on in the global world.
Governor, as you also mentioned earlier, looking at the increase in food production in the country, looking at efficient management of monetary policy, we've got a far more stable exchange rate as well. And this is starting to limit the pass-through inflation when it comes to imports. Can this be maintained throughout the year? Or do you think that you might have an issue on the agricultural side of things? What kind of scenarios are you pricing in?
Now, we are seeing that the investment in agriculture is actually increasing. We are seeing the government program in terms of crop intensification program, where they are increasing in terms of irrigation, in terms of land consolidation, in terms of using fertilizers. We are seeing that one increasing rather than decreasing, which is also giving us hope that really that sector will continue to increase. We are also seeing significant efforts in building our own industries and investment in the services sector. We are very, very hopeful for that. And we believe that really with that one taken care of, and also given the fact that we are still, up to now, they have reduced the taxes on the fuel, we believe that really the inflation is going to be contained, and we believe that exports will continue to grow and the investments is going to yield the results that we expect.
Also,
we are also seeing, sorry?
No, go ahead, sir.
No, we are also seeing that apart from that, we are also learning from the situation, and we are trying to increase also the trade within the region so that we can limit any kind of impact that will be from the Eurozone. At the same time, our reserves are quite comfortable. Right now, we have 7.7 months of imports, which is quite comfortable, that will be used in case of any need. So that one we are really in terms of containing the imported inflation. So we are very comfortable that really whatever happens, it may not affect us too much.
Governor, also looking at the huge trade deficit that you're sitting on right now, it seems that could partially be offset by the fact that you are sitting on a positive balance of payments around $120 million. It's a significant increase from the $72 million that we saw about a year ago. Are you expecting that this number is going to increase into this year and then obviously bring down that trade deficit that is obviously a very worrying number?
Yes. First of all, we agree that there is a high trade deficit, and that's why recently the government really passed a decision on the different areas where they are going to focus on export areas to be able to make up for that difference. But with this balance of payment, really it's making up for that kind of deficit. but at the same time increasing our own reserves. And given also the kind of conducive environment in Rwanda, where the macroeconomic is stable, with low inflation relatively, with a stable currency, with a financial sector that is strong and resilient, which is increasing, but at the same time well capitalized, it's giving people hope that with this kind of economic management, plus a conducive business environment, then it's the place for people to invest, and that's why we are seeing more flows coming in that are boosting our balance of payments.